journalist David Sirota uncovered some jaw-dropping corruption from the Trump team here. You would think that this would be giant news, but I haven't seen anybody pick it up, and it's absolutely mind-boggling. So this is what he says in his outlet, Capital in Maine. The Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America gave $2.5 million to America First Policies in 2017, according to IRS documents. America First Policies was formed by former Trump advisors in 2017 and proudly touts itself as a pro-Trump organization. The pharma money represented more than 10% of America First Policies revenue in 2017, according to the group's own IRS filings. The IRS documents were obtained by MapLight, a nonpartisan group that tracks the influence of money in politics. While campaigning for president, Trump pledged to take action to generally reduce drug prices and to allow Medicare to negotiate lower prices for prescription medications. He then appointed a former pharmaceutical executive to run the Department of Health and Human Services and slammed the Medicare negotiation concept after a meeting with pharmaceutical executives. Quote, "I'll oppose anything that makes it harder for smaller, younger companies to take the risk of bringing their product to a vibrantly competitive market," Trump said. "That includes price fixing by the biggest dog in the market, Medicare." So, look at what happened here. Donald Trump campaigned on, I'm going to lower the cost of prescription drugs because they're way too expensive, they're price gouging, and I'm going to fight Big Pharma, and I'm not from the establishment, I'm against the establishment. That was a big promise on the campaign trail in the same way that he promised, I'm not going to cut Medicare, I'm not going to cut Social Security, in the same way he ran against the trade deals. This was his populist streak. And this is something that we spoke about, and it was a big factor as to why he won, in my estimation. There's no way he could have won the Rust Belt if he ran a Mitt Romney-esque campaign, and he was just all the standard, I believe in the free market, and the free market is wonderful, and blah, blah, blah. There's no way that would have worked. So, he ran on that. Well, the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, a big pharma lobbying group, gave $2.5 million to America First Policies, which represents Donald Trump, which pushes for Donald Trump. So, in other words, Big Pharma gives a Trump-aligned group $2.5 million, which is 10%, by the way, of their revenue. And then Trump has one meeting with pharma executives, and then boom, flips his position. The entire time on the campaign trail, argued against pharma price gouging people, argued for Medicare to be able to negotiate for better drug prices. A $2.5 million donation to a Trump-aligned group, and one meeting with pharma executives, and immediately Trump flips. See, this is one of those instances where, we don't have their meeting recorded or anything. So what a court would say is, you can't say this is corruption. There's no actual quid pro quo, where they talk to each other and they say, we will give you these millions of dollars if you get off our ass and let us keep price gouging people. We don't have an actual audio recording of that. So a court would say there's no quid pro quo. But the reality is we're not idiots. We're not naive. We can read between the lines here. Crystal clear. Now, do you think Donald Trump, if he didn't have that meeting with executives, with the pharmaceutical executives, and Big Pharma did not give a Trump-aligned group $2.5 million, do you think he would have randomly switched his position? My guess is, hell no. And we've seen this not just with pharma, but there's another example with the predatory payday loan industry. We've spoken about this before. There were court cases against the predatory payday loan industry that were underway. Then the predatory payday loan industry gave Trump millions of dollars for his inauguration. And lo and behold, look, Donald Trump scraps those court cases against the predatory payday loan industry. They drop the case. So they can go right back to price gouging everybody. I've seen so many examples of this. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. He put somebody in charge of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau who doesn't believe in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, rendering it useless when it had returned billions of dollars to defrauded Americans. The head of Health and Human Services, Alex Azar, he was a price gouger for Eli Lilly. He made the price of prescription drugs skyrocket, and then now he's the head of Health and Human Services, and his job is supposed to be to lower drug prices. You couldn't make this stuff up if you tried. But this is the state of our politics. And again, the thing that drives me crazy is David Sirota is doing this work, amazing work. Have you heard about this on CNN? Have you heard about this on MSNBC? Supposed to be the left-wing network. They're not. They're just Democratic Party apologists. No, you haven't. So the things that are like stupid fucking sideshow nonsense stories of Trump being goofy or Trump tweeting mean things, that gets all of the coverage. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not above covering the Trump is goofy stories. We just did earlier today. It was the first story we covered where he's in the forest talking about you clean the floors and it prevents the fires. It's stupid. I had to cover it. I just had to. But point is, you need to mix in that stuff with substantive coverage of the corruption. But they never discuss the real, clear corruption. You know, they save all of their talk about, like, ooh, secret backroom dealings for Russia fear-mongering. And I will never understand why they don't take the more rock-solid cases. This is rock-solid to me, man. Anybody, even if they're on the right, can look at this and go, yeah, something's up with that. But they don't talk about this. They don't cover it. And it drives me crazy because this is the stuff, I mean, you want to... Trump has a relatively normal approval rating for a president. He does. He just does. His approval rating is right in line with many other presidents at this point in time in their respective presidencies. This is how you bring it down. You talk about this shit. But they don't talk about this shit. And it's left up to shows like mine. So it's absolutely infuriating to see this, but great job by David Sirota. And, you know, you guys should share this story in as many places as humanly possible because we got to get the word out. And we're the only way to get the word out, and that's a goddamn shame.